In this video, I'm going to teach you how I made this bubu gown with collar. I was able to achieve this with 4 yards of small Ankara fabric. The length is 63 inches. You can make use of 3.5 if you are around 58 inches or thereabout. It depends on your height. So, if this is what you would like to learn, please kindly come on and let me take you step by step on how I made this gown. Kindly give my video a thumbs up as we proceed into the video. So the first thing I'm going to do is to fold my Ankara fabric on a fold of 2, and I folded it with the length of 63 inches, and I marked my starting point. As you can see, the neck width I'm going to be working with is 3 inches and the depth is 1 inch, and I'm cutting the back first. So I'm going to mark the 1 inch this way, as you can see. Then I'm going to mark the shoulder to sleeve. So you are going to get to the midpoint of the back of your neck and measure it to the sleeve length that you want. So mine is 19 inches and I mark it there, 19 inches. So I came down by 1.5 inch shoulder slope, and I'm going to connect it into the line of I'm going to connect it to the neck area, as you can see me doing. So after connecting it, I'm going to mark my armhole depth of 10 inches. You can make yours 9, depends on your size. So you can make it 11 as well. So I'm going to mark the 10 inches this way, then I'm going to connect the line on a straight line just like so. So after connecting it that way, I'm going to get my bust measurement. The bust measurement I'm working with is, the bust round is 44. So I have my 45, sorry. So I have my 11.25. I'm going to mark it here, right here. Then I'm going to add 4 inches of ease, then 1 inch sewing allowance, which is 5 inches. Then I'm going to just mark it like so, as you can see me doing. So the next thing I'm going to do is to get the waist measurement. So the waist length I'm working with is 17 inches. You're going to mark your waist measurement here. So after that, I'm going to mark the waist round. So the waist round I'm working with, I'm just going to remove ½ inch from whatever I have on the bust line. You can remove 1 inch or half. So I'm going to remove ½ inch and I'm going to mark it right here. I'm going to mark my hip line. I'm going to come down by 9 inches for the hip length, and I'm going to mark it just like so. I'm going to mark it here so that I can have a straight line on this side. So I'm just going to mark it just as you can see me doing now, and I'm going to make a straight line just like so. So I'm going to make a straight line like that, and when I'm done, I'm going to just mark my hip. The hip I'm working with is 44, 11 inches. I'm going to mark 11 inches plus 5 inches the same way I've marked it at the bust area. So I'm going to add the 5 inches and I'm going to mark it just like so, 5 inches. I'm going to mark it here, just as you can see me doing. So whatever I have on this hip line, I'm going to mark it on the hem line. I'm going to measure what I have there and mark it on the hem line. So I have 1.5 inches for my hem allowance. So I'm going to connect the line just as you can see me doing like this, and I'm going to connect it to the waistline just as you can see me doing, just like so. And I'm going to connect to the waistline just like this, connect it like so, then to the bust area, and I'm going to mark it just like this. So I'm going to come out on this part by 1 inch, mark it, and you can come out by 1.5 if you wish. So I'm just going to come out like this and mark it, make a curve around this area of the armhole. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to mark from the waistline here. I'm going to come down by 6 inches for my pockets. mark the 6 inches for my pocket right here. Then I'm going to make use of whatever excess I'm having on this area. Mine is 7 inches. So if you want to make the normal pocket, which is the one we cut and join, you can make use of that. So I just want to make use of this. So the length of the pocket is around 11 or 12 inches. So I have a 4-corner round there now. So I'm going to come out from this point. I'm going to come out by 1/2 of an inch. From this point, I'll come out by 1/2 of an inch. And I'm just going to mark it to the length of the pocket, just as you can see me doing. So you can see I have a 4-corner around here now. So what I'm going to do now is to curve this area. I'm going to curve it just like this, so we can have a relaxed part at this area, and I'm going to curve this side as well. So our pocket is done. So like I said earlier, you can do the normal pocket. So I'm going to start cutting from the down part. So as you can see me, I'm already cutting, and when I get to this part, I'm going to cut it and follow the shape that I have made. Follow the shape that I have made for the pocket, as you can see me doing. I'm just going to cut it just like so. So I'm just going to connect it, and you can see the way I'm cutting it just like this. And I'm going to continue cutting. I hope you can see the way I'm cutting it. Please just take your time and follow the lines that you have made to cut it out. Just follow the way I'm cutting it out. So I'm just going to cut it and follow the chalk, and I'm going to cut it just like this. So on the down part, I'm going to finish cutting this part here. I'm going to finish cutting it this way. I hope you can see the way I'm cutting it. Please take your time and watch the way I'm cutting it. So we have our pocket cut together just like this. So I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to cut the armhole part here right now as well. So on this sleeve part, I'm going to add 1/2 inch for joining, because I'm going to be joining the material to this sleeve to make it longer. So I'm going to add 1/2 inch for joining here. Then I'm going to cut out the shoulder slope, and I'm going to add 1/2 inch for joining the back and the front shoulder slope together. I hope you understand. So after cutting this, I'm going to cut this neck line as well, and I added 1/2 inch. So I've just placed it on the front, exactly the same thing that I have here. I've placed it down here. So I have the same thing right here, and I'm going to cut it out just as you can see. So I have it cut out now, except for the neckline, because I'm going to be cutting a different neckline for the front part. So I cut out the same thing, as you can see, exactly the same thing, the same length, the same width, the same everything on the front and the back. So now I'm going to come down by 3 inches for the neck depth at the front part. Then I'm going to just curve it out like this, and I'm going to now pick up my tape and measure from the upper part here. I'm going to measure 8 inches. This is what I want. You can measure whatever you like, either 9 or 10 or 7. So I'm just going to mark it like this, and I'm going to cut out the neckline like this. Then I'm going to turn the fabric and make a slit here right to the 8 inches that I have marked. I hope you understand. So I'm going to make a slit. So this is the slit. This is what you should have after you are done. So after this, now I'm going to get my crepe fabric, and what I have here, you can actually make this longer or slimmer. What I have there, the length is, as you can see, and the width is 7 inches. So you can make yours longer if you wish. So I'm going to cut out, this is like a facing, but it's going to be showing at the front part, not inside. It's an outside facing for the bodice, for the style. So I'm going to cut out I'm going to shape this part like this, as you can see me doing. So after doing this now, I'm going to open up the slit the same way I've opened it up on the fabric. I'm going to open it up on this crepe material like this. So meanwhile, I have interfaced the crepe fabric here for stability. So I'm going to come here by 4 inches and then make a straight line like this, and I'm going to cut it out to give it the shape that it has. You can actually give it any shape you like on this part. So I'm just trying to do this because this is what we have on the on the style, on the one that we are trying to replicate. So this is what I have after I am done. And what I'm going to do now is to make a stitch. I'm going to make a quarter inch of a quarter stitch. I'm going to make a tiny stitch here so that it will not be too open. So I'm going to make it there. So I'm done making it, and I'm going to take my scissors and make a notch there up until the stitch that I have there. So make sure you do not cut it out. And I'm going to turn it to the right side, and you can see what we have right now. So this is the right side now. So I'm pinning it down now for stability so it will not shake or move around. So after that, now you're going to fold it side inside. You're going to fold all the edges around inside with half of an inch, then iron it down. You're going to fold it around. So I'm done folding it and I'm ironing it now, as you can see. And I have ironed it just as you can see me doing now. So what I'm going to do now is to make a stitch, top stitch on the edges all around. I hope you can see how neat it looks. Make a stitch all around, tiny stitch. So I'm done making the stitch, and this is what I have. So I'm going to bring the back now and place it on it this way. You can pin it down just as you have seen me doing. So, and I'm going to pin it down like this as well. Then I'm going to match the shoulder line, the shoulder, and stitch it down with half of an inch. And I'm going to repeat the same thing, stitch it down like this with half of an inch, and I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other side. So I'm done with that, and I've come to the sleeve here, and I have 20 inches length. So I'm going to get my crepe fabric here. I have interfaced this as well, as you can see. So the length of this is 3.5 inches and the width is 22 inches. I just decided to add that excess around. So I'm going to fold this half of an inch inside here, and we're going to have 3 inches left. So I'm going to fold it in just like this with my iron, and I'm going to fold the second part as well. I hope you understand. If you have watched this video up to this moment, please kindly give my video a thumbs up to encourage me to make more videos. So as you can see, I'm doing, so this is what I have after doing that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold it like this and iron it like this so I can get the midpoint. So I'm going to open it up now and place the midpoint on the midpoint of the sleeve, and just place my Ankara fabric on the edge like this. I hope you can see. Just place it and make sure that the Ankara fabric is in between the both edges, and pin it down just as you can see me doing. So I'm done pinning it down now. This is what I have. I'm just going to stop stitch on it neatly. This is the back, you can see. Top stitch on it neatly like this. So after that, this is what I have. You can see how neat it looks. So just iron it and you have something like this. So the next thing we are going to do is to measure around our collar. So this is the front. I'm going to measure from the slit opening at the front to where the front neckline stops, and I have 4.5 inches. I'm going to do the same thing for the back, and I have 3 3/4 of an inch here. 3 3/4 inches is what I have. So I have this fabric here now. I'm going to open it up. So you can see I have it on a fold of 2 now. Then the length, so the width here is about 10 inches, which means I have added and I have 12 inches here, so I added excess. So if you want your collar to be bigger, you can make yours longer at the height. So I'm going to mark 1 inch here. I hope you understand. So I'm going to mark 1 inch here. So after marking 1 inch, I'm going to first mark the back neckline. So this part here is the opened part. The 4 pieces here are opened, and at the back here I have my folded part. So I'm going to start my measurement from this folded part here. This part here is the back. So I'm marking my 3 3/4 inches right here. I hope you understand. If you do not understand, please kindly ask questions and I'll respond. So I'm going to mark my 4.5 inches right here. So we can see we have about 1.5 inch excess. So I'm going to connect that line and make it high like this. So after doing that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to come up here by 1/2 inch and mark it here. Then I'm going to just connect it from the midpoint to this line here. Like I'm going to make a slight curve around this area. So I'm going to make this curve like this, and here is what I have. You can see what I have. So I'm going to come up. I want to extend this line now to the upper part, just as you can see me doing. So I've extended it just like this, and the next thing I'm going to do is to mark the height. So like I said, if you want your collar to have be bigger, you can make this side here longer. You can make the length longer than this, so you can have a bigger collar. So I marked 3.5 inches from where the collar stops. From where this collar stands, you can see I have 4 inches there. So I'm going to mark the same thing that I have on that side on this side as well. So then I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch just to have a slight curve on that area, just like the same one we have on this down part here. I'm going to come down and I'm going to make a slight curve around this part here. I hope you understand. So after doing that, as you can see, after doing that, I'm going to come out by 1 inch on the upper parts here. I'm going to come out by 1 inch. Mark 1 inch here. Then I'm going to take my ruler and mark just like so. I'll mark it just as you can see me doing. So after marking it like this, I'm just going to mark it like this. Then I'm going to shape it out. So after doing that, then I think I'm done with the collar. So I'm going to cut it out now with 1/2 inch all around. 1/2 inch allowance all around. So I'm done cutting it out now, and this is what I have. So the next thing I'm going to do is to notch this midpoint both at the up and at the down part. Then I'm going to add my interfacing. I'm done adding the interfacing right here, and the next thing I'm going to do is to join. So I'm going to stitch with 1/2 inch round here, which is my allowance, and here as well. So I'm going to leave about 1/2 inch on this part. I'm going to stop stitching here. I'm not going to stitch up until the end. I'll leave 1/2 inch round here. So you're actually going to stitch around here, then fold in, stitch it up until around here, all around 1/2 inch. Then you can fold in this part before stitching. Fold it like this, then you stitch. I hope you understand. Fold it like this on only this part and stitch. So this is what I have after I'm done with what I told you to do. So we're just going to, I folded it in and I stitch it, and this is what we have after turning it around. I hope you can see what I folded in. So we have one part folded in and the other part is not folded in. Only one part is being folded. I hope you understand. So I'm going to pick the notch area now and match it with the notch area of the back. That's the middle part of the back. So I'm going to match it just like this with my pins. So I'm going to match it just like this with my pins. So after matching it like this with my pins, I'm going to match it from the midpoint till the right side. Then I'm going to do that the same thing on the left side as well. I'm going to pin it all around and make sure that the midpoint of the collar, that's the midpoint of the front collar, the starting point of the slit is matching with the end of the collar. I hope you understand. So I'm going to stitch all around with 1/2 inch. I hope you understand. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. So this is it. Make sure that they are matching on each sides, then stitch. So after stitching, it's going to be easier because I've already folded in this part. So you're just going to stop stitch this part that is being folded on the stitch that you already have right there. Just put it in, and And I hope you understand. You're just going to put in this part that you have already stitched before. Just put it inside the the folded part that you have. I hope you understand. So it's going to be so easy to stitch on. So after placing it, like, place this folded part on the stitch that you have there before, then pin it down and top stitch on it. Top stitch tiny on it from one edge to the other edge. So this is what I have after I'm done. So like I said earlier, you can make your collar bigger and wider than this if you wish. So this is what I have, and the next thing I'm going to do now is to run a stitch with my allowance 1 inch all the way here. Make sure that they are matching. 1 inch here, then come down by half of an inch, 1 inch right here, then come down by half inch and stitch into the pocket with half inch all around. Make sure that you match your outfit properly. Make sure that you are matching it properly and they are matching. So you're going to stitch it with half inch all around and come inside and come out here with 1 inch, then all the way down. So I'm going to be making a slit on this part on both sides. I'm going to be making a slit on both sides. So remember, I have a 1.5 inches of allowance. So I'm going to 17 inches for my slits plus 1.5 inches. I have 18.5 inches altogether there. I hope you understand. So I have 18.5 inches. So I'm done, and I'm going to notch the armpit. So you can see the slit that I have. I'm already done with it, and this is what I have. So the hem line, I've folded in half inch, and I have my 1 inch allowance there. And we are done making this gown, as you can see. Please kindly give my video a thumbs up and kindly subscribe, like and share. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you guys, and Merry Christmas in advance and Happy New Year in advance as well. And I'm going to see you on my next video. Thank you so much, and bye.
I done.